Hello, Potato. I feel like doing some Lego today, so that's what I'm going to do. If you remember last year, I think it was August, maybe September, there was that day that Lego released like 100 and something new kits, the bulk of what they would have for the holiday season, and I went and stood in line and I bought too many of them because there was a promo item I wanted and I got it, but I haven't put all those kits together yet. Most recently I did put together the Ironmonger Mayhem kit, which was part of that release, and today we're going to put together the last of the purchased kits from that day. I think there are a couple promo kits I have that I haven't put together and may not ever put together, but this is the last of the kits that I actually had lined up for. It was on my list of the 10 that I was hoping to get a hold of, and I figured also it's appropriate because with Book of Boba Fett coming to an end, I would look at the one character from The Mandalorian that has not shown up in the Book of Boba Fett yet. Well, almost the only character, and that is Greef Karga with the Imperial Armored Maurauder kit 75311. It's kind of ironic that I have not put it together before now, because this is one of the ones that was like high on my list of ones I wanted, because I loved the way it looked in the show last year. Well, 2 years ago now, isn't it? Was that did that episode release in 20 or 21? I don't remember. In any case, Greef is about the only person that hasn't shown up in Book of Boba Fett. We've seen Carson Teva, and we've seen Ahsoka, and I mean, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this for anybody who is behind on the series, but yeah, maybe he'll show up in the last episode. Who knows? Him and was it the blue guy? What's the blue guy's name? I don't remember the blue guy's name. But this will only be my second Greef Karga figure. The only other one I have is the one that came in the Razor Crest, and that is the bare-faced version of him, not the beardy, grizzled one that we have in this kit. Plus, it comes with a couple stormtroopers and an artillery stormtrooper. It is a mere 478 pieces. And, I mean, as much as I wanted to see a Lego kit of it, it is definitely not to scale from the one on the show. It's a lot smaller. That doesn't mean we can't enjoy it. That's kind of the case with a lot of Lego vehicles. And since we don't seem to have much of anything coming out from Book of Boba Fett, and indeed the only other Mandalorian kit I've seen announced so far is Luke versus the Death Troopers, which I feel like that's a kit that's mostly meant to sell based on the fact that it has Death Trooper figures in it, because it's not a particularly impressive looking kit, but it does come with 3 Death Troopers, so I probably will end up getting it. But that's for the future. I think that's probably a March 1st release. But maybe later. I mean, they've had those Marvel Armor mechs up there. I thought they were going to come out February 1st, and they still haven't come out. They're still showing us coming soon, so maybe they're March as well. We have 478 pieces, not a big set by any stretch. And not a thumb punch box, which is nice. I can't figure out how they decide which boxes to make thumb punch and which ones they decide to tape. Because I've seen the big pickup truck set. That's like 1,700 pieces, and it's a thumb punch box, which is to me it seems weird. It seems like thumb punches should generally be smaller things, not ones that cost $130. There's more in there. It sounds like out. There we go. At least thumb punch isn't on, or the opening isn't on the bottom, so I can set it up back there easily. How many parts do we have here? There's 2, there's 4, there's 1. I guess that makes this 3. It does. So just 4 bags. And of course we do have one of my pet peeves. They've shoved the book into there, folded over. So it's going to be real fun to try to keep it up straight on the table. But there's the QR code if you're interested in such things and want to follow along at home. I'm not going to judge you either way. So how many steps do we have in this build? See, that gives the impression that those guys are sold separately, and they weren't. They're part of the shuttle. Yeah, they're all focusing, this whole page focuses just on minifigures that come in other sets, not the actual sets. That's it's an interesting choice, but I feel like they know there's an audience that buys some of these kits mostly for the minifigures. All right, so there are 127 steps to this build. That should go pretty quickly, right? Couple minutes from your side of things. Here's the breakdown of the build. There are no words to speak of in this because it's a child set. It's for ages 8 and up. It's not This isn't like an adult collector set, so there's not a whole lot of excess content in here. But yeah, here's our first bag, and I guess we should go ahead and get into the fast forward and get her built. Okay, so maybe the build was closer to 5 minutes than 2, but it's done now, and we have it all built up and ready to go into combat. Lots of guns on here. Lots of firearms. Of course, we have the shooty ones here on the front and the turret on the back, which is kind of cool. You have the place to put the little gunner in there. And naturally, you push the little thing on the side of the gun here. And unless you're very lucky, you then spend the next 5 minutes trying to find where the stud went. Luckily, it didn't go very far. So aside from our gun, of course, we have our cockpit area and little printed control piece there. And that's actually, I think, probably the nicest thing on this kit. No stickers, not a single sticker, all printed pieces. Even on, like, say, these little boxes here in the storage pack, which have, I don't know what that writing is called. There's a word for that language, and I don't remember what it is. But clearly, these are Imperial goods that have been stolen. Is that a misprint? Was that supposed to be, like, was that symbol supposed to be here? Let's look at the other one. There was two of them. If they're both that way, then it's probably not a misprint. If they're not, yep, that is a misprint. They printed two decals on one side. So that's, I guess that's why it's a little off center as well. So that's unfortunate, but that's what it should look like. Imperial symbol on two sides and language on the other two. And I chose to put a couple of the little extra bits of ammunition they've included in there with it. Because why not? Nothing else to put in there. We have a number of extra pieces in this kit too. Of course, we have extra, like, little blaster studs, but just lots of other little extra 1x1 claw bits and, you know, the things that you lose the most frequently when building one of these. They're there. So, aside from the opening of the cockpit and the turret area, we also have like a little gunner's hatch here, like it shows on the box, to have a character look like they're popping up out of the inside of the vehicle to deal with enemies. And both sides come open. If we can get them. I do believe I've assembled this part backwards. Hold on, let's fix that real quick. There we go. That looks more correct. Yep, and the bottom doors pop open as well. So you can, you know, do whatever play you want to do with that. And also, because, I mean, otherwise there'd be a fair amount of dead space in there if you couldn't. We have one more hatch back here so you can see inside and I guess put your stormtroopers or whoever you're transporting in there. It's a nice little set. I mean, it would be nice if it felt a little more proper scale to the way it does in the show, but it also would probably cost a lot more than $40 if that were the case. I think it's what this was. It was like $39.99. It is still available. It's only been out for a few months. It has not been discontinued yet. Kind of cool. I haven't seen this before. We have this artillery stormtrooper who's got like some of the yellow going on, which makes me think a little bit more of like the old clone troopers. But he's got like a little mortar cannon, which I don't think I've seen. And I've just broken it. I don't think I've seen like a mortar cannon in Lego before, which is kind of cool. I like that. I like that little detail bit. It's still going to end up thrown inside there and probably never seen again, but I like it. And of course, we have two normal stormtroopers who they've gone through the trouble of giving two different heads. And I think both heads are actually different than our heavy artillery trooper, because he's got almost more of a, I guess maybe that's part of what I think of it like clone trooper as well. He's got like a clone trooper head almost. He's got that kind of the Boba Fett face going on. But then we have, I think this maybe is meant to be a female. And then this guy over here. So I guess diversity, which is nice. Until like Bad Batch, I don't think we ever saw anybody that was confirmed as like a female stormtrooper. I mean, I'm sure there must have been some. They just don't necessarily all announce themselves. But I mean, most stormtroopers don't never get to speak on screen. So we don't know how many there were. It's not like the armor betrays gender, which is, I suppose, one interesting thing compared to, say, a lot of genre stuff where the female armor is both definitely feminine and frequently wholly impractical. Don't have that issue with Star Wars. Everybody's armor looks the same. Of course, it's all wholly impractical in that it doesn't seem to stop much of anything, but at least it looks the same. So that's a nice build. Nothing too complex. And there again, it's rated for ages 8 and up. So I mean, I wouldn't expect anything too difficult. Unlike, say, the Bad Batch shuttle, nothing on it feels particularly fragile or flimsy. Oh, that's actually one thing I thought about when I was building it. So, I comment occasionally how I like when they reuse pieces that are kind of custom made for something specific, like the R2-D2 legs appearing in the Home Alone house on the fireplace, or the bits to make a BB-8 used as pieces in the Santa's Visit kit. Well, this piece here, if you click the minifigures in particular, should look pretty familiar, because what that is that's the base that comes in the blind bag minifigures, just as gray. I've seen them black and white, of course. I think Disney did a white one, but usually they're in black. But yeah, that's what that is. That is the stand for a blind bag minifigure that they have put in to this as like a normal Lego brick. Which again, I like when I see them reuse these pieces that are clearly meant for like one thing and find ways to use them in other things. But yeah, overall, nice build. Oh, the guns here, of course, pivot out. Good range of fire on there. No shooty bits though, which is fine. I mean, I am not big on the shooty bits. I don't think even as a kid, when I was a kid, they didn't have shooty bits. Legos didn't actually fire. I think it may have been like some catapults and stuff in like the Knights Kingdom series, but in general, Legos didn't actually launch projectiles. And of course, now with kits intended for younger builders, that is like a requirement. There must be something on it that shoots, even if that's not like really appropriate for the build. But it's fine. And it's a cute set, and I'm happy with it. And of course, we have the little slidey bits on the bottom, so you can slide it along the carpet, or in my case, on the tablecloth, with a little less friction. Doesn't snag on the underside of the brick, which is, again, it's a nice attention to detail, but something we've seen, for years. So yep, that's the last of those, I think either August or September 1st kits that I bought. At least all the ones that I bought that day. I mean, I've bought some other ones since then. But, yeah, I'm happy with it. I really do hope we get to see some Book of Boba Fett sets being announced at some point now that the show's basically over. But what I would really like to see, I mean, I guess the throne room is kind of an obvious one, but what I'd really like to see them build a kit out of is the sequence where the mods are chasing the mayor's lackey. I've said that in the previous video, but I know not everybody watches every video. But that's what I want to see. I want to see a kit of the mods with their speeder bikes and the mayor's schmo with his car, because I just think that would look nice in my town. But that's going to do it for this. I hope you found this at all interesting or entertaining. If you did, give the video a like. If there's any Lego kits you would like to see them make from either The Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett, leave it in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.